Well, good evening, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen around the world. It is once again time for the Backstage Slam podcast. This is episode number 212. I am one of your hosts, Josh, joined as always by the guy that I'm not going to make that corny ass Hawaiian joke. By my brother from the Pacific. Yeah, see, I'm not going to say the guy that always gets me laid, so I didn't go there. Ben, what's up?
Although I don't mind putting lays around my friend's head, but what is up with COVID-19? It's wrecking
still
everything. It's wrecking everything. The president, the first lady have it. The NFL is starting to have bouts of it. Like the Tennessee Titans.
Almost like it was a bad idea to start up.
Like, okay, we have like 5 confirmed cases within the Tennessee Titans, and there's unreported 6 more that are being currently tested right now. The backup quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs has it. The New England Patriots starting quarterback, Cam Newton, has it. Oh my goodness. This is why I said they shouldn't do football. At the very least, push football back to spring. It's going to be weird. They're going to have football played twice next year, but no. People like, we need a semblance of normality. We're going to push through and go ahead with it. And look what happens.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Look what happens.
Like, could they have done a bubble system like the NBA did? They could, but I don't know. Like, the NFL is just like 10 times bigger than the NBA. So I don't know how a bubble system would work.
To paraphrase
with that being
Jaws.
Said, yeah. With that being said, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's doing the right thing. XFL coming back, but not next year. They're going to take next year off, and they're going to come back in spring 2022. So they're going to take an extra. They're basically going to take another extra year. They could. The Rock's ex-wife and co-owner of the XFL, Danny Garcia, said that if they wanted to, they would be able to kick off in February, March of next year, but they want to, take extra time, make sure that, the whole pandemic thing has been taken care of, because the government said that, between now and next February, there should be, a vaccine ready and available to the public, which I'm very skeptical about, Josh, but this affects wrestling, so I have to bring it up, because more people in wrestling, not only in WWE and AEW, but other indie promotions that started up again for about a couple of weeks, they ended up shutting down because their talent ended up going and contracting the disease because fans were showing up without masks, which sucks. Mm-hmm. Small indie companies are going out of business because they can't run. Oh, man. And from what I hear, another thing that you and I are into, which is the entertainment, or on the movie side, movie theaters are in a very dire situation.
Screw them.
Yep. So we might be seeing everybody watching all these new movies coming out, but on pay-per-view for like $15 a pop, which is what they kind of do in hotels nowadays anyway, right?
And in some hotels, yeah, you get some pretty good new releases.
It's like, why go to the theater when you can pay a couple of bucks extra and watch it on pay-per-view on demand? I was like, why don't the theaters do that? It's like, but whatever.
I paid $25 to buy the new Bill and Ted film. and own it. It was $20 to rent, $25 to own. And seeing the difference was only $5, and I really wanted to see the movie. I was like, yeah, I'll own it. If the difference is $5, well, hold on, let me correct myself. Because there's going to be some nitpicky people out there that send me a message saying, technically, right? The difference is you pay $20 to basically lease the rights for 24 hours, and you can watch it as much as you want within those 24 hours, fine. But for the extra $5, you get to hold on to those rights for as long as you're permitted. Usually when you buy something digitally, there's a pretty good chance you're going to hold on to that for a while. But eventually, companies go under, things happen, and you lose access to your titles. It's just a part of a digital life. And I went for that option. Technically, I'll just say it said own, so that's what I clicked. There. I hope everybody's happy, and the pedantic people out there that would absolutely love to send those messages have been put in their place. I win. I don't care. Just giving us something to talk about, because last week we had Clash of Champions.
I did not watch it yet. I plan to, but haven't got around to it yet.
I'm about to spoil the crap out of it for you.
Oh, well, yeah, I know the results of it. I just haven't, watched it and can gather my own thoughts. But I am quite happy with the direction of Roman Reigns, which is kind of 3 years late.
Yeah, we did mention that before. Finally, a good direction for Roman. We'll get to that in just a second, as it was the main event over Drew McIntyre and Randy Orton, which I did have some issues with. And I'm going to see if you have the same issues, not even having watched it, but you read what happened.
Yep.
So the pre-show kicked off with Cesaro and Shinsuke taking on Lucha House Party. I believe I picked Lucha House Party to win this. Not because I thought they would, but because I thought it would just be nice. In fact,
your exact words was, I'm going to go against the grain here.
And we both did exhibit the want for Cesaro and Nakamura to kind of break up, do their own thing. Because, one, Cesaro has never really had a chance to shine on his own. He was a Paul Heyman guy for 20 minutes? That's what it seems like. And
but did you, speaking of him, did you see, were you able to see his Twitch this morning?
No.
Oh, dude, he looked like a wreck.
Doesn't he always?
Was not in a good mood. No, because WWE's taking over everybody's Twitch accounts. Paige is taking it to court, the big time court. And a couple of other people are really super salty. Cesaro's one of them.
I imagine so. I don't know if this affects up, down, down, though. Does it?
I don't think so.
Because, Xavier, he uses the Austin Creed for that.
Yeah, the Pro Wrestling Sheet and PW Torch this morning said that WWE is kind of reneged on the quote unquote, we own the real names of our of our talent. So they reneged on that.
Yeah, because people are like, that's crazy.
So I don't know, man. None of them use their WWE names on Twitch. None of them. Dakota Kai doesn't. Cesaro uses Claudio's Cafe.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Claudio's Cafe. You can follow him right now. Or I can link it to you.
One of these days, you know what? We have a website. I should throw on some links on there to, hey, here's some wrestler streamers that you might be interested in.
I'm following a couple of even guys on like Evil Uno from the Dark Order, who's really fun on stream, by the way, on Twitch. By the way, Evil Uno, one of the best jump scare screamers out there on Twitch. It's so funny.
I have to check that out. Yeah, go ahead. As a matter of fact, definitely in the Discord, which you could also find at Yobro
on my
MMO,
Twitter.
And the Twitter at Yobro MMO. We'll get these links out there for you guys to follow, because I'm going to certainly be looking some of this stuff up. I started rewatching Doctor Who again. I'm already up to season 6. It's quite the ride, man. Quite the ride. But Cesaro and Shinsuke retained the SmackDown Tag Team Championships after 10 minutes, 45 seconds.
Let me ask you this. They're starting to appear on Raw. Does it appear like... I know it's because of the draft. Do you think that they might unify the tag team division, because they split up so many tag teams and so many of the tag teams have injured members, that they're going to unify it and have the tag teams on exclusively to one brand, or just to have the tag teams bounce between both brands? Because it kind of seems that way.
It would be nice to have one tag team division.
There's no depth.
Because they destroy every good tag team that, winds up on their doorstep. The Revival. Excuse me. I had a little bit of glass ceiling in my throat. Yeah, it would be nice. But I honestly don't think anybody is giving a second thought to anybody in the tag division. So it's, in my opinion, probably just going to be business as usual, which is, here we are. I'm just glad these guys got a little more than 10 minutes to actually put on a pretty good match. All 4 of these guys are pretty good when it comes to putting on a match. Which is why when it opens up the show, that's never a bad thing. Opening up the main show proper, we had Sami Zayn take on Jeff Hardy and AJ Styles in a triple threat ladder match for the WWE Intercontinental Championship. 26.5 minutes saw Sami Zayn climb that ladder and retrieve the titles, becoming the one legitimate champion, as he said he has been this whole time. Now, the thing about this, Ben, is the ending of this match was one of the most unique ladder match endings I've seen in a very long time. Did you read about what happened?
No, I've only seen the picture of Sammy holding both belts up, and I was like, ooh, yeah.
Should I just leave it up in the air then?
No. Spoil it.
Okay. It let's just say, I'm not going to get in too much detail. You remember how Randy Orton, when he was feuding with Jeff Hardy, did the whole earring thing?
Yeah.
That came back.
Ooh.
And Sammy handcuffed Jeff Hardy's ear to a ladder. And then at one point, Sammy handcuffed himself to AJ Styles. And, as things went on, he eventually, got the key out and climbed the ladder and won.
Wow.
It was interesting.
Very interesting.
And I'm glad I picked good old Sami Zayn.
Same.
After that, in a match that was supposed to be in the kickoff show, Asuka took on Zelina Vega and defeated her after 7 minutes to retain the Raw Women's Championship via submission.
I heard Stephanie, or not. I read that Stephanie extremely went to great lengths to get that match off of the pre-show because of the backlash it had on Twitter.
It would not surprise me, but one of the things that I'm going to go ahead and say, there was a match that was advertised that did not take place at all, which was the Women's Tag Team Championship match. And as a matter of fact, another match that was supposed to happen that didn't happen was Bayley and Nikki Cross. But we'll get to that in a second.
Was the rumors for that match being canceled true?
We'll get there in a second. Because right now, Bobby Lashley took on Apollo Crews for the United States Championship, and Lashley won. Big surprise here, right? It's just like more of the same. Yeah, they went 8 minutes, but, we've seen it, and we've seen it when we've seen it. And I'm just going to move on to the Street Profits and Andrade and Angel Garza for the Raw Tag Team, blah, 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 because guess what? We've seen it, and seen it, and seen it, and seen it.
Yep.
It's like the middle of this pay-per-view was an episode of Raw from 2 months ago.
That's probably why they need a draft so bad.
Could be. But that does take us to the thing that I said we'll get to. Bayley and Nikki Cross were supposed to have a match. Did not happen. Do I remember why? No. It was just very... Let's see. See if there's any notes about this. Because even though it was Bayley, I was kind of tuning out at this point, especially after those 2 matches that I really glanced over a second ago. I really had a hard time retaining interest. So, no, I don't remember what happened. I think there was maybe a Sasha beatdown afterwards. Well, anyway, Asuka came out and was like, I'll challenge you, and you put your title on the line. If Asuka wins, she's double champion. If Bayley wins, she retains. Pretty simple stuff, right? Asuka beat Bayley by DQ. Bayley got the match thrown out intentionally, so it's like, what was the point? I mean, thank you for not having to make me cheer against one of my boos, but it just seems like they could have gone in so many different directions. Maybe brought out somebody else to take the chair shot. But
it's as if they're treating this like Raw and SmackDown, where nobody knows what they're doing until less than an hour before the show starts.
It seems that way.
And only the main event is predetermined the week before.
If you're one of those people that's not CM Punk, then you know that the first match of tonight's co-main event is Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. And it was an ambulance match for the WWE Championship. Went 21 minutes, 35 seconds. Now I'm going to tell you why I had a problem with this. Even though Drew McIntyre, he retained, as he should, as we all picked him to do. In my opinion, Drew came off super weak. The tree looked like he was ready to be cut down. And I'll tell you why. Not only was there Big Show interference and Christian interference and Shawn Michaels interference and a cameo from Ric Flair at the end driving the ambulance. Okay, that's pretty much it. There was all of these people showing up, helping Drew McIntyre hit their finishes. I understand that the story is they're getting their revenge on the guy, too, because it's perfectly legal. But you got big babyface.
All of them in their old pay-per-view matchups way back in the day.
Say again?
Didn't he specifically punt all of them in the head in their heyday, like in the old pay-per-views and stuff like that?
Yeah, and building up to this as well, he's been attacking everybody.
Legends come back and get their vengeance on the Legend Killer.
They got their revenge. Unfortunately, it was during Drew's title defense, and every time it looked like Drew was about to go down for the count, somebody was there to save his butt. And to me, that kind of takes some of the strength of character and strength away from Drew McIntyre, because he relied on outside interference. I don't know. Maybe I'm just a stickler or something. And I even could have said, you know what? Fine. You wrapped up the story. This was the ultimate finale. This was the way to end the story, where the Legends get their revenge, Drew gets his revenge, and we move on. But they didn't even do that, because guess who has a rematch? Again. Yep, sounds like you know.
I seen the video clip of him getting his revenge on them backstage on Monday Night Raw. He was wearing like a fake, what do you call that? Night vision goggles. He beat the crap out of everybody with a mop handle or something.
Yep.
In the dark.
Now, mind you, this was after being shown earlier in the night, in I think a couple of different segments. He's in disguise as a janitor. So when the janitor goes to the Legends poker room to, I guess, straighten up, and the big reveal is made, he puts on the goggles, shuts off the light, and all you hear is a ruckus. And then when the lights come back on, everybody is laid out, except Randy, of course. And, you know, a lot of people are talking about Samoa Joe's call on this. And you know it was one of those things that came from the back. But I just keep people mentioning, those are night vision goggles. Yeah. Yep, sure are. Kinda, I guess. So that's how Raw closed, I guess. It was, yeah. So nothing. There was no closure from Clash of Champions when it comes to Drew, Randy, and the Legends. Nothing. And that brings us to what CM Punk would call the main event. You know, the show that the match that closed the show. Now, before this match, and I made it pretty clear on last week's episode, I was not keeping up with everything that was going on Raw and SmackDown because obvious reasons. Now, that left me wondering why the hell Jey Uso was number one contender. Because it seemed to, you know, kind of come out of nowhere. What is the purpose of this? And with that in mind, I watched the match and I'm like, this isn't a match. This is a burial. So that was my mindset when I was watching it live. And a friend of mine told me, just watch it again. First, you know, watch, this YouTube video. And it was kind of like a WWE package, but I guess it was supposed to be edited better. That's been since taken down. But he was like, watch this. And I watched the video. And then I watched the match again. And suddenly everything clicked. Everything clicked. I understood the story. Because it was probably one of the most true, pure wrestling matches in a very long time. And I don't mean that in a highly competitive, hold for hold, catch as catch can kind of thing. It was more of a professional wrestling. It's about storytelling in this era, right? It's about being able to tell the story in the ring. Something that we've all grown up on. Seeing a story play out between the ropes. And that's exactly what this was. And it was an expert display of that. Jay got his moves in when he should. Roman beat him down when he should. And then he went the extra mile and beat him more, and then beat him more. And it got to the point where Jimmy comes out and is ready to throw in the towel. But Jay doesn't want to throw in the towel. He's like, no, you step aside. I got this. I mean, he never got up from the mat, and he never stopped getting his face beat in. But he's still like, no, Jimmy, I got this. Don't throw in the towel. As Roman's face is just like crushing his jaw. But eventually, the towel gets thrown in, and the match is called. The ref tells Roman to stop beating him down, and Roman's like, don't ever interrupt me when I'm doing my work, things like that. And that might have been earlier in the match, I don't remember. But the whole time, you can hear every word these guys are saying. And the whole time, Roman's like, you call me Chief. That's what you call me. You call me Chief. And
I love it.
It was great.
As somebody with Polynesian background, I actually love it. Like, it directly affects me. A way that a wrestling match should be when it's done good, when it's done right.
So even knowing this, I think you would be the perfect audience to feel those goosebumps as you're seeing Roman say this stuff.
Like, a lot of people's like, I don't get it. What's with the Chief stuff? And then like me and many old school wrestling fans are like, his grandfather was Peter. His granduncle was with Chief Peter Maivia. The Rock's grandfather. This and this, and then here's the history. And then everybody's like, oh, okay, I get it. And it's like, they even played them around with it in one of the Fast and Furious movies, or was it the spin-off movie? The one that Roman showed up in? It was
Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah, where that one action scene on American Samoa. It's like, there's a lot of that in there, sprinkled in there. And that's why I was like, oh, dude, Jay and Jimmy, when he comes back, are going to get singles runs at the title, get built up, both get beat down, and then it's going to culminate with The Rock versus Roman, and I like it. I mean, better now than ever, Rock's going to be 50 next year. Which is crazy, ain't it, Josh? Holy crap.
Yeah, I love when they post pictures of, the latest one I saw said, this is Paul Rudd. And the next one was like, this is Wilford Brimley. Paul Rudd is now the same age as Wilford Brimley was in Cocoon. And it's like, whoa. Things are certainly different now.
There's
But
rumors that that Disney's wanting to reboot Star Wars, and they're like, nobody can play Luke Skywalker. And I'm in my mind like, are you kidding me? Like, Sebastian Stan right now looks like Luke Skywalker back when the movie came out in the late 70s. Like, crap you not.
well, one thing they're not going to reboot is
I hope they don't do it, though, to be honest.
next month's main event for Hell in a Cell.
Oh!
Because we're going to get a direct sequel to Reigns and Uso as they take each other on.
I hope, this storyline's going to last a while. Because Jimmy's supposed to be back by January, February, get cleared. And I don't know if you know this, Josh, but WrestleMania was supposed to take place in LA.
Mm-hmm.
But the California regulations said that they don't see them, even when the NFL season's done in next February. They said they still have a limit to how many people can be in a venue, so they can't use the brand new SoFi Stadium that the Rams and the Chargers use, the new state-of-the-art stadium there. So there's a news release that they're gonna retry at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa again, which they were supposed to use earlier this year. That got canceled. So it looks like they're moving it, WrestleMania 37, from Cali back to Florida. That's what I read this morning.
I'm sorry, nobody can see me rolling my eyes like. I guess it's in their best interest to try to do something to figure out what they're gonna do. It's hard to believe we are 5 months away, maybe 6 months away from WrestleMania. It seems like only yesterday, and also 10 years ago, that I was complaining about not being able to make it to this year's WrestleMania with Amber. How weird is it that it seems like it just happened, but it also seemed like it was an eternity ago at the same time.
This year felt like the longest year ever.
This
And
month
it's all
feels
because
like
we
the
were
longest year
forced
ever.
to. Yeah, it's like all because we were forced to stay home for the majority of the time.
Yeah, funny thing is,
The only thing that's left is for me and you to do is to make OnlyFans accounts.
I already did.
Oh man. Jeez.
I ask people, what's your wildest fantasy?
Do you want me to rub grape jelly all over my belly? I'll do it for $50.
No. They tell me their fantasies, and I tell them why it's not normal and the type of professional help they should seek. I offer therapy, MK. You know what? I actually should do that. That sounds like
New
a great
podcast,
idea for a
Therapy
show.
with Josh.
Yes. Welcome to the Doctor, not actually a doctor, Josh Show. I would have to put that in the title. The Doctor, not actually a doctor, Josh. Yes, this sounds like a brilliant idea. But you know what else sounds brilliant? NXT Takeover 31 coming at us tomorrow. That's right. Well, hot off the heels of Clash of Champions is another pay-per-view on the WWE docket. NXT presents Takeover 31. And you know what? Since this is something you are actually caught up on, I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to you, Ben.
Well, this is going to be the last NXT Takeover at Full Sail University.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Because I guess the state mandate this, or should I say, the university decided to fall in with that, and they haven't allowed anybody in the venue since the beginning of March. And WW has decided, like, well, it'll save some money with the production, like gas and stuff like that for the production trucks, to just keep things at the performance center instead of moving things to the Full Sail venue. So they're just going to be moving all NXT pay-per-views and everything until things go back to normal at the performance center. So with that being said, we got 5 matches on the docket. NXT Takeover 31. This one is pretty loaded. So let's start off with the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. Really good build here, as champion Santos Escobar will be taking on Isaiah Swerve Scott for the NXT Cruiserweight Championship. I like what they're doing with Santos Escobar, because that's exactly what they did with Angel Garza and Andrade beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of thinking, how many times is WWE going to tease that, oh, we have Los Ingobernables, but we just can't name them Los Ingobernables? Like, Escobar's stable is so cool right now. I'm only starting to come around with him. So I think he's going to go over. But I think him and Scott are going to continue to feud. I don't know why they're not utilizing all of their talent from 205 Live in NXT, because only like a handful of them are actually wrestling on NXT. But they need to do some improvements with that. So with that said, I'm going to go with Santos Escobar retaining.
I'm also going to go with Santos Escobar, because I like to jump on the Ben train. Wait, that sounds weird. I agree with everything you said and have absolutely nothing else to add to that, other than Santos Escobar is going to be quite the force in NXT before he's relegated to the mid-card and below on the main roster.
Whenever the ring announcer says Santos Escobar's name, you know what I hear in my head?
What's that?
Armando Alejandro Estrada. Oh, man. Holla at your player. We'll make this a tag team match.
I give the WWE this much credit. Throughout their entire history, they've always managed to treat their Hispanic wrestlers with a lot of respect when it comes to their culture.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I can't even get through it, man. They treat them like garbage.
All right. Next match is Kushida versus Velveteen Dream. I think the winner of this match gets the number 1 contendership for the North American Championship, I believe. It's not official, but I think this is the direction that they're going in. Well, I think Velveteen Dream is eyeing the NXT Championship, but Kushida is eyeing the North American Championship. So I think the winner of this gets a title shot at either one of those 2 belts. With that said, Velveteen Dream, he's been on a skid lately, but they're doing a decent build with him. Kushida is just returning from, injury, and I really want him. I really want him to be a champion, because I have a feeling all of these guys eventually are going to go back home to Japan. If not AEW, I hope. But yeah, Kushida has about maybe a year and a half left on his contract, and I want to see him be pushed and be champion and actually make his time worthwhile. And it's kind of sad because it's not NXT's fault, because they just have so much talent there. So with that said, I think Velveteen Dream is going to win. I want Kushida to win, but I'm going to go with my gut. And I see Velveteen Dream healing it up and winning in dirty fashion.
Well, we're going to differ on this one because I have Kushida all day. But I have to admit, it's mainly based on the outside stuff that I'm just been so turned off by Velveteen Dream as of late. It's really hard to separate the allegations from the performance when it's certain things. And yeah, I know if they thought there was any kind of validity to him, maybe he wouldn't even be on screen at this point. I don't know, it just feels icky to pick him. And it just so happens I love Kushida, so I'm going to go with Kushida.
Nice. All right, coming up next, singles match for the NXT North American Championship. Got Damian Priest taking on Johnny Gargano and might pick me Shocky. Tonight, Johnny Gargano defeats Damian Priest and becomes the new North American champion.
What?
Yeah.
No way.
I look at this card and I say, something's got to happen. And that's the first of 3 doozies I got for you.
Huh. Okay. Was not expecting that. Not at all. So, how do I process that? Okay. I've never been what you'd call a fan of Damian Priest by any means. I think his best days are still ahead of him, which is kind of weird because, hey, it's a Ring of Honor guy coming over to NXT and da-da-da-da. I like him more now than I did then. Right?
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, even though he's, in my opinion, improved tremendously, I'm still not there. He's still like a Baron Corbin guy to me, except better. Slightly. And I don't want to pick him. I don't want him to win. So I'm going to also go against the grain with you here and go with Johnny Gargano. Johnny Wrestling takes the title.
Awesome.
I think so.
Here's
and
the
unfortunately, that
doozies.
means people fail upwards, so he might be going after the NXT Championship next.
Yeah. So this is the second of 3 doozies. Io Shirai defending against Candice LeRae, the NXT Women's Championship, because they're both on the card, husband and wife. This is Candice LeRae's 3rd opportunity for the NXT Women's Championship ever. I think both Mr. and Mrs. Gargano are going to be champions and taking 2 championship belts home tomorrow night, son. Candice LeRae has finally arrived. I think there's going to be a bunch of overbooked debauchery at the end of this match. I do think we're going to get what's that? Not Mercedes Martinez. What is it? Ramirez? That big Latino. Oh, why can I never remember her name? The one who's protecting Dakota Kai recently. I think she's going to interfere in the match somewhat and take out Io Shirai, inadvertently helping Candice LeRae win the title. Because the women's division is stacked. It's so stacked that I'd be okay with everybody getting only 3, 4, 5 month reigns. I think it's okay. Because they have the strongest women's division in all of pro wrestling. So, yeah, I'm going to go with Candice LeRae. Who you got, boy?
Again, for the same reasons you're saying, I am going with Candice LeRae. It is going to be one of those nights where husband and wife celebrate together their victories. And it's going to make a great photo op as they pose with their titles and flex that relationship muscle. And I mean that figuratively, not like, bam, chicka, bam, bam. You know what? I'm going to shut up now. Candice LeRae.
Okay. Main event, NXT Championship champion Finn Balor taking on Undisputed Era's Kyle O'Reilly, arguably the most well-rounded member of that group. Finally gets his chance at the big one. Kyle O'Reilly wins the NXT Championship, but no! He gets betrayed by Adam Cole. Finn Balor capitalizes on that, takes out Kyle O'Reilly, retains the NXT Championship. Undisputed Era come out. Bobby Fish has a problem with Adam Cole. Adam Cole beats the crap out of Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. And Roderick Strong has a choice to make, and he ends up siding with Adam Cole. Bye-bye Undisputed Era. They're broken in half. That's how I see this show ending. Who you got, Josh?
I got half a mind to tell you where to shove your idea. That's what I got. I don't want anybody breaking up. Breaking up is bad. Stop with the breakups.
They've been teasing something, though, for a while.
Maybe they're teasing a 5th member. Maybe
you know what I think is going to happen? They're going to get drafted, and then the Undisputed Era is going to go up against the, what do you call that? The Hurt Business. And then the Hurt Business and Undisputed Era is going to team up to take on Retribution. Because I think that's what Vince would do. And then that's it. We hate Undisputed Era forever until they leave WWE.
Yeah, here's the thing. Adam Cole can solo Retribution.
Oh, definitely. All of them can.
Yeah. It's not really... God, that is such a terrible faction.
Donovan Dijakovic has been nerfed to high hell as... What is his name? I don't even remember his Retribution name. Mia Yim has been... All of them have been nerfed.
Leatherface, Turd Cutter, Lead Pipe.
Axel.
Mark Hoppus.
Bebop and Rocksteady.
Lars Ulrich.
Slash. Enough's enough.
Buckethead.
Dimebag Daryl.
Rob Zombie.
Sting. Oh wait, not that one. Oh.
Under Taser. It's I'm picking Finn to retain, but a united Undisputed Era beats him down, and then they'll break up in the draft. But even then, they're going to have each other's backs when they see each other, because Undisputed for life. So that's my those are my picks. Those are your picks. Whew, we have done it, man.
Yeah. You guys can follow us on social media at Skit Comic.
Yes.
And at Yo Bro MMO. That's our Twitter. You guys can click on our profile page, grab some links off of there. If you guys want to support our podcasts, please go to patreon.com/YoBroMMO. We are now back up to 4 Patreon supporters after a couple of people, resubbing after finding new jobs. Hooray for them. It's been pretty rough on Patreon, but things are starting to pick back up again. Like I said, if you guys are having money issues, that's okay. Cancel, and you guys can resubscribe whenever you guys are able to again. Don't be forced to. We're still going to be friends. But yeah, we appreciate that some of you guys are coming back again. And for those of you guys that are reaching out in the DMs on the Patreon, really appreciate you guys coming back and you guys showing the support and still faithful to the podcast. And yeah, anything you want to add, Josh?
Yeah, don't forget to like the Semigore Studios Facebook page. That's where we are currently live with the Facebook Live feature. You can jump in the chat there, join us in real time, asking us questions, making fun of us, the whole shebang. Or you could always go to semicorepods.com and join the chat there. It's all good either way. Also, if you want more Backstage Slam goodness, go to BackstageSlam.com or go to SemicoreStudios.com. Other than that, it's been fun. Glad you could listen. Don't forget to rate, review, subscribe. Leave a little note on your pod catchers, wherever you download the show, and help us get the word out. We're 212 episodes into this thing, and you know what? I think it's time to let people know we're out there. So do that. Leave a note, leave a rating, let the world know about the Backstage Slam and how just goofy we are. And that way the party gets livelier, the action gets more intense, and, we're able to bring you more and more goodness on a weekly basis. That's all I got, Ben.
All right. With that said, we hope you guys enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we will see you guys next week as we talk about NXT and give updates to the New Japan G1, where we should be close to halfway through the G1 tournament.
Mm-hmm.
From us to you guys listening at home, too sweet, everybody.
Too sweet.